Good morning, friends. Thanks for joining us this morning. This is Journey Home Meditation, and this is the morning sit. Uh, it's Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. We're going to do a little bit of poetry reading, some contemplation, and a little shared meditation practice today. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad that you are here too. I recognize that it's been very sparse the past few months for doing these shared practices together. And I just want to say thank you to those of you who are accustomed to joining us every day for your patience. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm not sure what's up with this new format that the stream is giving me, but that's what we're here dealing with. So that's what we're going to do. Enjoy the pretty pink and purple and blue haze in the background. Try not to go into any flashbacks from the 90s rave scene, and we'll be good. I'm just going to do a little short session this morning with you all. I've got a lot of things on my plate today, and I wanted to make sure to set aside time. I was doing my morning practice this morning, and I was thinking, I really need to set aside time for the shared practice, because it is not a solitary practice alone that we do this practice of meditation. It does come with a set of ethics, and it comes with a set of teachings that inspire me in my practice and what I do and in what I share. And part of those foundational aspects of this practice is that we are creating a sangha. We're creating a community of people who are sharing practices. And I realize that it may seem different if you're used to having any sort of a community based around contemplative teachings or even poetry readings or shared meditation, breath work, that to have this to be online may be something that is difficult for some of us to really find our way into. But I do think that this format, this ability that we have to connect through all of these technologies, as unsustainable as it may be in the long run, it is available to us right now. And as a lifelong poet and artist, any available platform that we can use is a possibility for liberation. It's a possibility for us to be present and to have voice. And that voice could be used in many ways, right? We see it when we see this wild, the wild west really of social media. I mean, it's an anything goes free for all of not even ideas as much as just expressions of emotion. And there are some ideas in there, of course, and there are ways that we find people that inspire us to think differently and inspire us to embody some of the ideas that we have. But by and large, what I'm seeing, especially on Facebook, where I do this live stream, is on Facebook as well as YouTube and a platform called Twitch, which is generally a platform for gamers. And my kids introduced me to it, and I just decided to give it a shot because it was available. But the most of what I'm seeing in social media is this targeted um, platform that really tries to reach in and grab the most shallow form of our expression, and it enculturates that. And I'm seeing that, of course, I'm not immune, and my friends are not immune. People, loving, caring, kind people who have really good intentions, are not immune to getting sucked into this sort of vapid environment of morbidity and um, vitriol. And it especially seems to be ramping up, with the economy, with the murder of more unarmed black and brown bodied children by police, the terrible and horrific incidents that are occurring with the weather related catastrophes in the US and abroad. These, climate change induced superstorms are really just starting to really take off, and it's terrifying. All of this is to say that all of these things that are triggering our emotional responses are really concentrated in platforms like Facebook. And I think it either takes someone with an extremely disciplined practice to be able to navigate that social media storm, or it takes our ability to step away from it, to be responsible to our own emotional state. And I'm recognizing that, with even as much as I am working and have been putting in work, I don't even like using the word work in this case, as much as I have been relating to my intentions and becoming aware of my motivators emotionally and socially, and even physically, the reason that I might overeat at times, or the reason that I have a proclivity towards sweets when I'm feeling emotionally distressed. I'm learning these things about myself over these past number of years doing these mindful practices. But even with all of that practice, it seems that it's like entering into uh, a candy store of emotional eruptions when I enter into social media. Um, and we've somehow become convinced that we're seeing people as they truly are. Well, I see your real self, and that's used in a negative way. And I just don't understand why we would want to continue, why I would want to continue to willfully participate in a place that engenders that type of relationship. Because I don't believe I'm seeing your true self or my true self. I believe we're seeing a paper thin example of our passions, and passion isn't always a good thing. The word passion actually means suffering. It comes from the word for suffering in the Latin, which is interesting when you think about compassion means shared suffering, when we share the suffering. And that's when it is to have compassion for others. So these teachings that the Buddha taught, the teachings that Patanjali taught, the teachings that Jesus Christ of Nazareth taught, all of these, I mean, and these are just a few of the endless number of great teachers that have existed throughout time. I just picked a couple because I see their images on my walls right here. But these teachers have been teaching us ways in which we can navigate that for a long time. Um, and I think I'm getting a little lost in my thoughts. So maybe we'll just bring it down, bring it back to where my intention was in stating all of this from the beginning. My intention is to say that I'm going to be no longer streaming on Facebook as regularly. I'm going to be moving my streams elsewhere. We do stream on YouTube simultaneously, so The YouTube is available to anyone. It is free, doesn't require any form of subscription. And you can find it if you look for Journey Home Meditation on YouTube. You'll be able to find us. And it does live stream there, and you have a chat feature. Um, and I'll also be moving to a new format, new to me format called Substack. And um, when you go to substack.com, you'll look for at Journey Home Meditation, and you'll be able to find that. It's not launched yet, but that's what I've been working on. And one of the reasons I have not been broadcasting is I'm putting some time and energy into that platform. So I just wanted to let you all know I'm going to be moving off of Facebook. I just don't feel like it is responsible for me to continue to contribute in a space that um, seems to be so unhealthy for so many of us. Um, and there's going to be different views on that. And I do love and support the people that are remaining on those platforms and trying to be a beacon of good ways, and a beacon of good relations. I just can't seem to do that well myself. And so I'm going to continue with my practice and continue doing this, but it's going to be in a different format. And so I just wanted to let you all know that. I know a lot of our people that join us on here are joining us through Facebook, but we will continue to stream on YouTube and Twitch, and we will also be continuing putting our archived audio up on the podcasting formats, as well as I'm going to be moving into a new format with that as well, where I'll be joined by guests regularly, more regularly, not daily, but more regularly. We'll have an interview or discussion-based practice there. So thanks for all the support, and I look forward to growing this relationship in a new and hopefully for a few of us healthier way. But yes. Okay, so this morning I did my morning practice, and I picked up a book of collected poems, and I just sort of flipped through a couple of poems, and I wasn't really being struck by any until I got to this poem by W.S. Merwin. And I'm taking this out of Billy Collins' second anthology of collected poems. This is called 180 More. This is a poem a day for high school students. So he has two books, 180 and 180 More. And his idea was that you're in school for 180 days, and if you could have one of these poems a day just to start the day. So I picked these up so I could share them with my high school students if I found some that really was moving. And this one moved me this morning because it spoke to me in my experience. This is W.S. Merwin, To the Dust of the Road. And in the morning you are up again, with the way leading through you for a while longer if the wind is motionless. When the cars reach where the asphalt ends a mile or so below the main road, and the wave you rise into is different every time, and you are one with it until you have made your way up to the top of your climb, and brightened in that moment of the day. And then you turn as when you rose before, in fire or wind from the ends of the earth, to pause here, and you seem to drift away on into nothing, to lie down once more until another breath brings you to birth. I just love the opening of this poem. And in the morning you are up again, with the way leading you through for a while longer if the wind is motionless. For me, the reason that one struck is this sort of describes my every morning, waking and then doing my practice, trying to let my practice lead me into my day for a little while. And then I picture sort of the wind here, longer if the wind is motionless. I picture the wind here being the energetic push to to do something. And if the wind is motionless, if there's not this big push to activate, then I can sit there longer with the way leading me. Interestingly enough, the way is that's what the Tao is. It's the way. Um, and these sort of very simple names for these complex relationships and practices have a long tradition in our human relationships, right? And so the way leading us, I think of that as almost like the invitation. When we think about the way, when I think about the way, I think, the way I move, the way I do, the way I think, the way I breathe, the way I be, all of these things. Like the way means sort of everything in that moment to me. And when I allow the way to lead me, the way being this opened path of existence and the way that I'm going to move forward, the way that I'm going to step into that day, that poem really spoke to me. And then I do get into my vehicle and I drive that dirt and dusty road until I get to the place where the asphalt ends. And that's when I enter onto the next road and I drive up the hills. And yeah, so thanks, W.S. Merwin, for capturing so long ago in words that spoke so clearly to me in my practice today. Yeah, the beginning and the ending both of that poem. When you rose before in fire or wind from the ends of the earth to pause here, and you seem to drift away on into nothing, to lie down once more until another breath brings you to birth. I mean, that's really what we're talking about when we talk about the practice of conscious breathing. It is the practice of conscious living and conscious dying. And that's why that is important. Some people teach that it's not important, that it's ridiculous. J. Krishnamurti was quite amused by the insistence upon Vipassana meditation. He was amused by the ideas of thinking about your breath or thinking at all. He thought that anything that made you think more is a bit of a burden. And he's a great teacher, and I could see a lot of those ideas being really valuable at times. But for me, having that conscious awareness of my breath brings me into a deeper relationship with that part of me that I can't mask, that part of me that I can't hide behind presenting differently. I can pretend to be having a good day or be very customer service oriented in my way that I interface with people, right? And I can smile and I can nod and I can make small talk. But what I can't do if I'm having relationship with my breath, my breath will not hide the truth about what I'm experiencing. My breath will tell me every time. So even if I start to believe my thoughts and I start to dissociate from my body and I don't feel the things that are happening inside of me and I don't connect to the way that my body feels in that moment, as soon as I start to connect and relate to the breath tells me. The breath tells me what's going on with me. And there's these ways that we learn to read our own breathing. And it's going to be different for everybody. So it's not like I could produce a book that sort of outlines for you what your breathing is telling you about yourself. But there are some things that are transferable. Um, and that's why we share these practices with one another so that we can transfer our experiences with these things and maybe relate those to one another. I've learned a lot about myself from listening to other people share their experiences, listening to intentional teachers and unintentional teachers, teachers that are teaching without having a platform, without thinking that they're teaching. It's just what we do as humans in these human constellations is we bounce our light off of each other. And that's pretty good. That's a pretty good way forward. So thanks for listening today to the rant about social media, and thank you for listening to me read the W.S. Merwin poem. Mostly I just wanted to come on because it's been a while, and I wanted to give that respect and that honor to say, hey, I do appreciate the people that are messaging me and asking me when Journey Home meditation is coming back, and I do appreciate having those conversations with people when I run into you in the outside world about what we're doing here with this practice. But yeah, sometimes things just require shift, and I'm in a shift as it is right now. So thanks for your continued patience with this, and I will have more information for you soon. So in the meantime, why don't we go ahead and just take a few breaths together and find our way into a little bit of a meditative practice this morning. So if you want to find your meditation posture, I just recognized that those joining on the video stream are not hearing the audio clearly until just this moment. These ever-changing technologies leave me a bit confounded at times. So I appreciate your patience again. I hope this audio is coming through clearly for you now. Finding our meditation posture is simply finding that place of balance within our body. The practice that we're doing is a devotional practice to our breath, because breath is the beginning and the end of all life. Everything we've done begun with our first breath and will end with our last breath. So our breath is the meter that's counting us through life. So opening the body by extending the spine, placing the feet flat to the floor to provide balance and stability, or crossing your legs in any number of positions. All of these are ways to move into your meditation posture. Breathing in through the nose to the bottom of the belly. And release. Breathing in. And release. And breathing in. Pardon me. And release. Breathing in and out of the belly exercises our diaphragm, massages our internal organs, and gives us the beginning of calm. As we breathe into the belly, we recognize in our bodies that we are in a safe space. We are not gasping for air into our chest because we are not in fight or flight at this time. We are calm and we are at ease. Gently breathing in through the nose to the belly and release. Finding this stillness in the body allows for the subtle voices to come forward. When we are constantly moving and doing, we are pushing down those quieter voices, those quieter bits of movement in the body. So those little emotions that really want to come forward, they take a back seat. And as we breathe in and out of the bottom of our bellies, we start to invite those emotions to move through the body, starting with the belly and up into the heart and the chest and right out of the throat and the mouth. And you can feel the wave of emotions moving upward into your body as it leaves, as that energy processes through and moves forward. This is a wonderful thing. Invite this movement of opening into your practice. Find this fragility and this vulnerability right now in this safe moment. Notice that when you start to make your body feel safe, all of a sudden the things that are wanting to come out but don't come out when they don't feel safe, they start to move up. This is an amazing invitation. This is a wonderful path forward. So thank you for participating in this practice with me today. Thank you for bringing yourself into these practices because it really is helpful to all of us. The more health that we can invite into the world, the more there is to share. If you'd like to reach out to me at any point, you can send a message to journeyhomemeditation@gmail.com. I appreciate your communications. Thanks for these last 3 years now being on Facebook with this practice. Again, we will be leaving Facebook regularly. There'll still be a Journey Home Meditation Facebook page, and there may be some regular streams on there, but my interaction will be minimal, if at all. But you can find us in the other places, and I look forward to what will come out of these new ways to relate to one another. So thanks for being here today.